stayed within our means.
Diner Mike Smith says he could use but doesn't really need stimulus money.
I think seeing maybe, even like $2,000 per month or even more could be, I think, a good thing for some people.
But Bernice says, hold that order.
You got it.
A $2,000 menu item now could lead to a big bill later.
So you think you're going to pay for it later?
I feel like we are.
Yeah.
Nothing is free in this world.
Everybody, huge action is being taken right now by the top lawmakers in Congress. Stimulus payments are coming. Get ready for it. Up to $30,000 in relief can actually be claimed right now. Important details on the new stimulus package have been released. Inflation just continues to cause headaches for many homeowners, and here's what President Biden is saying about this. Since Americans receive multiple stimulus checks and funds during the crisis, homeowners are wondering if Congress will actually help more homeowners furthermore. The 30-year mortgage rate has actually reached a new high last week. It led to a greater stagnation in the housing market. The average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage increased to 7% for the week, ending October 27. It is actually the first time it reached this threshold since April 2002. As inflation endures, consumers are seeing higher costs of return, causing further dramatic declines in consumer confidence this month. In fact, everybody, many potential home buyers are choosing to wait and see where the housing market will end up, pushing demand and home prices further downward. But experts say that there is a current $1 billion in relief funds that Americans can claim right now. That is through President Biden's Rescue Act, and it's provided up to close to $1 billion, $10 billion to the states through the Homeowner Assistance Fund. Most states have implemented this system, and actually, most states have implemented programs to distribute the funds, and are generally an eligible recipient must make less than 100% of the median income for the entire country. In the state of Illinois, eligible homeowners will soon be able to receive up to $30,000 in relief through an assistance program administered by the Illinois Housing Department Development Authority. In a press release, the organization announced that its Illinois Homeowner Assistance Fund would resume at the beginning of the month. They've approved more than $20.5 million in checks for around 1,800 people though the fund has been approved earlier this year. The program is funded through the American Rescue Plan, and the state was allocated around $400 million. Applicants have to be able to prove a financial hardship as a result of the crisis, and they also must own a home in the state as their primary residence and be at least 30 days late on their monthly payments and have a household income of less than 150% of the area median income. The Biden administration is also seizing on huge earnings and calls from oil companies as it seeks to give voters a response to relatively high gas prices ahead of next week's midterms. Joe Biden has repeatedly sought to place blame on the industry for the high prices. It has ramped up its rhetoric in the wake of massive earnings. However, some analysts say that the large parts of the price are set by the global oil market, not by individual companies. Joe Biden said on Twitter, if these companies were taking advantage of profits and average profits on refining, instead of the profits they're making today, gas price would come down around 50%. And last week, ExxonMobil reported a record $20 billion in quarterly earnings, while Chevron and Shell posted some big numbers too. $11 billion and $9 billion. Since that conflict and other factors drove up oil and gas prices, it has caused a profit bonanza. The Biden administration has called on them to use that income to reinvest in new oil and gas production. In his speech on Monday, Biden threatened a higher tax on their excess profits for these gas companies. Now, he said that higher tax on excess profits and unspecified other restrictions if the companies do not increase production. While the windfall tax wouldn't win enough support to pass the 50-50 Senate, Biden's comments represent a significant messaging effort to draw attention to high profits. Biden has also blamed the oil industry and called on companies to drill even more. So now we're waiting on President Biden to send out more stimulus payments. But can he get it done this year? Tell me in the comments down below, everybody.
Today to add $250 billion to the Paycheck Protection Program, loans for small businesses to pay workers later.
I mean jobs between $120,000 and $135,000 a year, and you don't need a college degree to do them. Look, y'all made this possible. And we're just getting started. We're just getting
issued. So about 6 million direct deposits and 1.6 million debit cards have been issued. Direct deposits will continue to be issued through November 14th. A second round of debit cards started getting mailed out this week. Now, this is for certain Golden State Stimulus 1 or 2 check recipients. If you didn't receive the Golden State Stimulus but weren't getting a direct deposit, those debit cards for people with last names starting with letters towards the beginning of the alphabet will start going out in December.
Now guys, you are eligible to receive another stimulus check from the IRS, and these checks can be worth up to $3,000. Now checks may be automatically deposited for millions of Americans. Other Americans will be able to claim a $500 stimulus check next week, and this is all thanks to the billions of dollars that's being allocated towards a new stimulus program. So you want to be sure to continue watching this video to learn how to receive the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information, folks. There's a ton of news on this, and I want you guys to get the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus news. You don't want to miss out on this important video. So now the US government, everybody, has finally approved the sending of 3 stimulus checks, and although the IRS announced they had finished sending the third payment, known as Economic Impact Check, some of you guys haven't even received that money yet, which is $1,400. So taxpayers were able to claim the payment when they filed their tax return for the 2021 fiscal year. However, this year's tax season ended on April 18th and the extension expired on October 17th. But you still may actually be able to claim any money that you haven't received from the third payment. Now, since taxpayers can make sure they are eligible for the recovery rebate credit by checking if they received a letter from the IRS, you can actually get the money still by filing your return. However, since both deadlines have passed, the amount you are eligible for would be reduced by penalties, and your refunds could be less than expected. On the other hand, everybody, people who are generally not required to file their taxes because they have lower incomes have until the middle of November to request the third stimulus check. That's through the online tax credit tool. In general, low and middle income citizens are eligible as established by the IRS. This help is intended for people who earn less than $75,000 of adjusted gross income, heads of households who earn less than $112,000, and married couples who file jointly who earn less than $150,000 as well can get the payment. The stimulus check is actually $1,400, so be sure to get it and check your mailbox for this. The IRS has said it passed a milestone of having 4,000 new workers as the agency prepares for the tax filing season again of next year. However, the IRS commissioner said the IRS is fully committed to providing the best service possible, and we are moving quickly to use new funding to help taxpayers during the busy tax season. The IRS plans to hire another 1,000 customer service workers by the end of the year. Almost all training will be complete by the President's Day in 2023, when the highest call volumes typically occur. As of October, the agency had 5 million unprocessed individual tax returns received in 2022. It included late filed returns from the previous year, and Reddick in March told the House Ways and Means Committee that he expects the backlog will absolutely resolve before December. And according to the Massachusetts governor, the first checks and direct deposits from a nearly $3 billion pot of excess tax revenue will head back to taxpayers starting next week. A spokesperson for the Executive Office of Administration and Finance said the money will head out the door under the voter-approved tax cap law. So, about $3 million